I thought you read the instructions.
I didn't even understand the instructions. All right, so we're back out here the next day. Everything's looking great. The rudder looks good. All the hinges are totally dry. So we're gonna move on to the tail bracing. We got the little tail bracing bag out, and here's all the parts that come in it. Reading through the directions, they basically, they want you to start with these tabs, and you gotta bend them about 45-degree angle, putting the bend closer to the small hole. So we're gonna do that. It says use just some pliers. I've got some flat nose pliers with the jaws don't have the teeth. So I'm gonna pinch it, I don't know, about a 1/16 past that, but not totally in the middle.
Oh, it looks like it bends really easily.
Oh yeah, it's just soft aluminum. So that looks pretty good. And they said, yeah, put the bend closer to the small hole. So again, I'm on the small hole, about a 1/16 of an inch past it. They bend super easy. I was gonna do the vise, but then I started looking at the metal. I was like, I don't think I need the vise. It says about a 45-degree angle. I'm just eyeballing it. So now we're gonna take these 3 screws here, place one of these little clips that I just bent, one on the top, one on the bottom, and the screw and the nut hold it together. And you do use thread lock, any metal to metal, and it even says this in the manual, so. Pop it through there. I'm gonna put a little more on, because I bet it all came off as it went through the wood. Same thing, now we're gonna put the nut on the bottom. I flipped the airplane over, but I cannot see it on the bottom, and I can't hold it all at the same time, so. Using the airplane stand to our advantage here. These tiny little nuts are all right, so I got these tightened up. You don't want it too tight because it's just balsa wood and you got the Loctite on there, so it should be good. All right, let's flip the plane back over.
Oh, and did this.
There it goes. Just took a bit to get through the wood. Tighten it up, but leave it loose enough to where you can point the tabs where you want them to go. And you see why we made the bend, because it's going up to this piece. The wire's gonna go there. So that angle looks pretty good. That angle looks pretty good. For the most part, it points right at it. We got one more screw. So same thing. Gonna get this through. You know what, because I'm right-handed, I'm gonna put this bolt through on the right. Went right in. Last little piece that we bent up, I'm gonna put it on this side with the nut.
Did you put the thread lock in?
Yeah, that thread lock actually didn't come off because it didn't need the thread into the wood. It just went through, so all the thread lock didn't get wiped off.
Cool.
And I think I gotta bend these tabs a little more actually. But luckily they do bend very easily, as you can see that.
Oh yeah, that worked.
It's gotta go more like, yeah, that looks pretty good. I'll bend this one a little more. Looks good. Here's where it might get a little kind of weird. We're gonna put these together. So we got a clevis and some turnbuckles. So we got a little piece of fuel tubing from the kit. It's all in this little bag. It's part of the tail bracing wire bag. We're gonna get the fuel tubing on the clevis. The fuel tubing just keeps the clevis shut once you clip it on. All right, so we got the fuel tubing on the clevises. We're gonna take the 4 brass turnbuckles, just put a little thread lock on it, nothing crazy. And then Mary also noticed, it says screw these in about, so there's 3 millimeters poking into the clevis. So we'll go about like that. You're just prepping them, getting them ready. What they want is they want this in the middle, so you have adjustment that way or that way. All right, so we're gonna start crimping these. You can see I already did one. That was more like a practice one for me. But what you gotta do is you take a wire, take one of your barrel crimpers, feed it through, then you're coming through one end of your brass guy, just make a little loop, and then come back up through the other side of the barrel crimp. And then you just kind of wiggle it down to where you get what you're happy with as far as a loop. The wire's kind of tight, so it's hard to, but that looks acceptable. And there is a lot of extra wire. So I flipped it into this hand. So keep them spread apart, so when you crimp it.
They say separate in each barrel.
Well, it's just how it's designed to work. Then you're gonna crimp, I do two. I'm gonna do a double, 1, 2. Just like that. Seems good. So we got 2 more, 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. So we got all 4 of our little assemblies made up. That's the easy part. So now we gotta connect them and run it through there. And while it's connected, we do this last little barrel connector. So all 4 of these are the same. I'm just gonna start right here, get the clevis open. So it just spreads open. It's the same clevis that's on the servos. So you can kind of put it on there and then lift up.
And push it in.
And then the pin just slides over. All right, so now we're gonna get one of these, the barrel, get it up through there. The clevis is what's gonna tighten this up. So this part's kind of tricky, guys, and I'm really using some horrible crimpers here. So I got 1 crimp. That's about as tight as I could get it, but then you can adjust the clevis to get it real tight. And you don't want it pulling on your tail or anything, you just want them taut. But it's on there. So before we flip the plane upside down, I'm just gonna take the slack out of these. So now we gotta take the clevises off and do a couple turns in and then reclip them on. They just want it taut, not tight.
Yeah, just a light tension.
Let's see. All right, that looks good. So it looks like it's gonna be, got a little tension on it, but not super tight. That looks better.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that.
Oh yeah.
Because it's not pulling, you don't want it pulling and changing the shape. It's just got some tension on it, and that's really all you want.
Yeah.
I think that's
good.
perfect.
Okay.
Same thing. All right, I'm happy with that. That actually is pretty good. Yeah, and the rudder's still perfectly vertical. That looks good.
So now we do the underside.
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 So same thing. I'm just gonna flip it upside down and do the 2 on the bottom, but it's the identical process. Not gonna film that. You can see it's just extremely tedious, but we'll check back in when it's done, all right? Looking good. All right, everyone, so we got all 4 wires, tail support wires, all set up. Kind of fiddly as you saw, but just work your way through it. But we got them all pretty good. You don't want them super tight. You don't want them actually pulling, but you want the slack out of it. So you can see they're tight enough. They prevent any just tail flex if you start doing any high G maneuvers. But anyway, they're looking really good. And I think they look cool. Yeah, 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. Looks like a real airplane. We're on to the part where we're gonna be installing the servos into the belly of the plane, which control the elevator and the rudder. So we have our last 2 Power HD servos. I got them centered up off camera. I selected the arms that was closest to what the manual suggested. The manual wanted 16 millimeters from the center. I chose the hole that was 17 millimeters. So that's what I chose. Yeah, we're gonna open this up. It's kind of like when we had to do the servo pockets for the wings. So we got to mark some holes, or mark the marks, drill the holes, screw the threads in, and then reinforce the threads with CA. So you can see there's where the servo goes. There are no holes. And what they want is the servo, the pinion, the gear, facing forward of the aircraft, in the forward area. So we're just gonna slip that in there. And
Okay.
I hope so. Kind of wondering myself. Looks like we got some surgery to do. So there's just a little too tight.
Scalpel.
I'm gonna get the file out and I'm gonna just start small, but I can see 2 edges that I have to make it bigger width-wise and length-wise. All right, so we just spent about the last hour doing a little surgery to fit these servos. The stock holes in the plane, these weren't even close to fitting. And these are standard size servos. I don't know why they were so off, but what we had to do, we widened it up about a 1/16 of an inch, and then the length, we had to lengthen, sorry, about an 1/8 of an inch, almost a 1/4 of an inch. So this was the file we used. I just marked it and then just slowly
Filed it away.
Yeah, filed it away.
And you went out and back to
Yeah,
file
I
everything.
lengthened it this way and made it go wider that way because I didn't want to weaken this center piece, and they want it right here in the front up against that. That's kind of the spot they want it. They fit good now. So now the step that we're at, we can go back to putting these in. You can see they fit real nice, just like that. And then the arm's facing out. So we're gonna mark the ears and then drill some holes and reinforce the threads with the CA, just like we did earlier with the servo pockets in the wings. We got our little marker here. And you can see the marks, pretty straightforward. We're gonna drill a hole, thread the screws in, reinforce the threads. So they say use a 1/16 inch bit, so here we go. All right, so we're just screwing all the screws in, making the threads in the holes we just drilled. All right, so we got all the holes drilled, the threads created. We're just gonna reinforce them with CA, just like it says in the directions. I just don't want CA dripping all over the inside of my plane, so I'm gonna fold the paper towel like that. Let that dry for a little bit. All right, so we got the holes all CA'd up and reinforced. We're gonna install the servos. We just finished centering these and doing the sub trims on the transmitter, so we did that off camera, but these are all ready to go. Let's get these back in there. This time, we're gonna screw them in. If I don't drop the screws every time again. And these are the screws that come with the servos, so whatever servo you use will come with its own screws for the little ears. So this is not screws that come with the airplane, if anybody's wondering. Everything's looking really good. The servos are mounted up nice. Yeah, they look great. And now we've just dug out our push rods. So we have 3 left in the Carbon Cub kit. You can see one's really short and it has a plastic clevis. This is for if you're running gas. This is for the carburetor for your gas engine. So we are not running gas, so we're gonna just set this aside, use it for another project maybe, but we don't need it. Then you're left with 2. They are not the same. One is longer by 1 inch, so you can see down there. The long one is for the rudder. So I'm just gonna start with the elevator, and gonna feed it through the front of the airplane. So we actually have to take the clevis and the nut off to get it through the tube. So we're gonna take that off, and we're gonna look down the front, and you're gonna see there are guide tubes. There are guides. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it, but I'm gonna feed this down. So we're flipping the plane back over. Yeah, the tube's crisscross actually. There it is.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, so let's set it back on its side here. So we're gonna put the clevis.
Back on.
Yep. So let's hook up elevator Z-bend here. So we're gonna take off the arm. Remember, I already have the arm the hole selected that I want. So we got the arm off. Now we're gonna put it on the Z-bend. So we want it on the bottom of this arm, by the way. So we're gonna go like that and like that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, because if we put it on the top, it wouldn't make it through that slot.
Okay.
Now all we gotta do is just put it back on the 90-degree spot that we had set up for it. Should go right back on. All right, so now we're gonna do the rudder push rod. Same thing, we're gonna take off the clevis and the little jam nut, and it has to go in through the front of the plane. I had better luck when the plane was right side up. There it is. Should be coming Mary's way.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Alright, let's go back to this part. And there's our rod. We got it in our pocket here. Pull the servo arm off. Okay. Same thing, we want it on the bottom. Alright. So we got the rod. I actually put it on the top. And I realized I did it, so we're gonna put it on the correct orientation here. There. I thought that felt tight when I was putting it on. I was like, that. All right, same thing, just get the 90-degree. There, much better. Yeah, it felt really tight, like something was pulling on it. And that's why. Okay, so that's set. Looking great. All right, so now we have the tail facing us again because we're working on it. Let me get this jam nut on first. All right, let's get the clevis on. At this point, all you gotta do is just thread the clevis and then clip it on where your control surfaces are at the neutral setting, because up there is already centered. So let's see, it's gotta go in more, I can already tell. It's just a matter of threading the clevis in, looking at the hole. We need half a turn longer, so that will be that way, right? Yes. There you go.
Perfect.
So that's perfect. So we're gonna clip it and then slide the silicone fuel tube. All right, silicone fuel tubing that prevents it from opening up. And then we got the little jam nut.
Right up against it.
Yep, and I got a little pair of pliers that I was using for that. Little turn, that's about it. Just holds it there. We're gonna come over here, same thing for the elevator. So we're just gonna adjust the turnbuckle to where this is neutral. And that's pretty much it. So you can, Mary will hold it so you can see we got to thread it in quite a bit actually. That's it. So we're clipped in. Same thing, let's do the fuel tubing. Sorry, I keep moving my hands in the way.
All right.
Fuel tubing.
It's in. There you go.
Jam nut. Next step, we're gonna install the main landing gear. So you can see down here on the table, we got all the landing gear components out, the arms, fairings, all the hardware, everything. Well, the first step they got you doing is putting these little brackets on the arms. Already running into I think a design flaw. I don't know, it's kind of jank. So this is how they want you to do it. They want you to just put the flange on and then squeeze the ears on, but you end up with something like that. Mm-hmm. Can you see how the ears are bent?
Yeah.
And this thing,
Jiggles.
I mean, look at that. I mean, come on. And it doesn't even move that nice. So what I'm gonna do is I have these little O-rings from a Harbor Freight O-ring kit, and I've installed it on this arm. So instead of squeezing the ears and pinching it so it moves like junk, I put the rubber washers in there and it moves really nice. And that side to side movement now is kind of dampened. So it's a nice smooth dampened action versus, I mean, I don't like that one bit. It moves horrible. That's nice and smooth. So anyway, I think they should have included some sort of a rubber washer or a Teflon washer at least. So I'm gonna kind of change the design here. I feel like that's way better. I just don't see how that is good one bit. I mean, it's sticking even. It's metal to metal, it's just chafing. So anyway, we're gonna do all 4 of these. So we gotta put all 4 on, and I've got my little O-rings out. We'll check back in after I get all those on. So we have all the little brackets on the arms. Like I said, I did that first one with the O-rings. You can see there's an O-ring, or sorry, 2 O-rings between each bracket. And what that does is it makes for a nice, smooth, quiet suspension joint. And there's a little bit of lateral play, and it has a little bit of shock absorption because of those O-rings. So far, I don't see any downsides to this or drawbacks to this, except maybe having to replace an O-ring every year or two, but I think the benefits are gonna outweigh the jankiness of the way the manual recommends. So just a little something to think about if you're doing this. It's really nice like that. So anyway, we're gonna install it here, and hopefully our little design change is worth it. So let's continue on. Next step, we're going to attach the landing gear to the aircraft. So they're just going to sit right here. I have checked all the blind nuts in the aircraft with the M3x12 bolts, so it all works. This is a metal to metal connection. So we're going to be using some Loctite on all these. Just get a little on there. The rear mounts, we actually are going to put these 2 tabs here. This is for the jury struts later. So we'll just set that there. Get one of these going here.
You want to make sure the straight edge of the landing gear is facing forward of the aircraft, right?
Yep, so... Alright, we'll just get this started.
Yep.
Get it holding in place. Get another one. Yeah, and then so these aren't tight yet, we gotta do 2 more there. And like Mary said, the angled part of the landing gear faces the rear of the aircraft. That's just how the Cubs are designed, so make sure that's correct. Looks so far so good. Let's get some more in there and then we'll tighten them all down. All right, so same thing on this side. Don't forget the little jury strut bracket for a later step. So same thing. That's nice. So the next step is to install the cross brace. It goes on the front part here. It's kind of another situation with some sloppy metal to metal stuff. So I'm gonna put some more washers in there and hopefully get rid of that, because that's how it's gonna be. It's kind of weird. So I'm gonna put some more rubber washers in there and try to quieten that up a little bit. All right, cross brace is installed. Next is the shock absorbers. So we're gonna leave them in stock form. Some people take some springs off from the inside, but they're stiff at first, but the reports are they will loosen up, so we're just gonna leave them. So we're gonna attach these with some M3x12s. Like Mary pointed out earlier, you always want the bolt going front to back, kind of like the direction of flight. There we go, there's one. We'll just get that loose on there for now. Grab another 12, slip that in there. Should pop through, yep. Another M3 lock nut. Next step, we're just gonna attach it to the actual landing gear. So this is where you use an M3x15, so the longer of the 2 M3s. This is kind of a fun part, attaching all the big metal pieces. So we got the bolt through, another M3 lock nut. So this is very stiff suspension. Once it gets the weight of the plane and a few landings under its belt, supposedly it stiffens up, but you can see it's
Pretty. Oh yeah.
so it moves.
Wow. Just
It's stiff right out of the box. Okay, everything's looking good. So the next step, install the wheels. Here's the wheels that come with the aircraft. Remember from the unboxing video, we are gonna use the big wheels. So we're gonna go up to the 6-inch DuBros. We want the monster truck look. So let's bust these bad boys out. Again, these things are awesome. Here's the valve stems that come with it and some little brass collars.
Okay.
Now I've been told that you can't, that these are not a bolt on to the axles for the plane. So let's check and see. All right, so the axle that comes with the plane is in the baggie. And yep, you can see it does not fit the DuBros.
So the DuBro is too small?
The DuBro axle, the DuBro hub is too small. So,
Okay.
so these are the ones that come with the Carbon Cub. I painted them black. I wanted some black wheels.
Oh, you couldn't help yourself.
Nope. But here's the axles. Here's the hubs that come with the plane, and you can see it goes in a little better. Well, maybe not. There. So it was just because I painted it.
Oh.
But these are the hubs you want to use.
Okay.
So
Just transfer
we're
them
gonna
over.
transfer these hubs over to the big DuBros. So we got a little wheel work to do. Look how much cooler that looks though. Black wheels. So yeah, we gotta take off the hubs out of the DuBro and put the stock Carbon Cub hubs in there,
Okay.
wheels. So we're prepping the wheel hubs here. There's quite a bit going on. These are all the parts from the wheel hub bag. Remember, we're swapping over to the big DuBros. But the first step is they want to put this little collar on the axle. And you can actually see there's a side with more space than the other. So on the end of the flat, there's very little. And then on the end of the flat over here, there's quite a bit. So they want the collar on this side, it seems, because
The short side?
yeah, on the short side, because I'm just gonna start this so I can slide it a little. They want 6 millimeters right here. So let's measure that. Perfect. Yeah, so it's looking like it's almost just right in the middle. But that's
Oh,
just,
the flat spot.
yeah, that's for my hub. So we got a little bit of Loctite on there. The directions are pretty bad on this section, to be honest with you. We're gonna do our own interpretation of it. They give you 4 brass bushings here, and nowhere in the directions do they mention brass bushings. They clearly fit into the wheel hubs.
Mm-hmm.
This is where they go. But they do not mention it, ever, in the directions. It just makes the axle spin really nice, and it fits perfect. Without it, the axle's kind of wobbly. Then it goes in like that.
Yeah, but it also says to put a little bit of machine oil.
Oh yeah, sorry. So we got some a little bit of oil here. I'm gonna put a little dab. Oops. Just a little drop of oil there. It's gonna go in there. Nice, spins nice. And then we want the valve to be on the outside of the tire. We're gonna do that. Put that back in there.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got another hub.
Yep.
Oops.
Collar.
Ay, ay, ay. Push that in.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got our wheel, but now we got to put the screws through.
Mm-hmm.
So let's put them through here, see if they'll line up. So these are a little tricky to get together. Putting the drops of oil, little drop of oil on the hubs here, because those are gonna end up going like that. Trying to get it spinning pretty decent here. I'm gonna put a little bit of thread lock on this one bolt I got my finger on the back side holding it. This goes in. We got our brass bushings in both hubs, some wheel oil. Let's try to fit this all in, and this is gonna be really hard to show you, but you gotta kind of look through the hub, get that one bolt lined up.
Yep.
You kind of squeeze it, and then you can start one of these little baby nuts if you're lucky, and you'll get it. So I got that one. They're not tightened up yet. Now the same thing. So I got it together now at least. Other one lined up. Hopefully it'll go. There we go. So you gotta kind of squeeze it. It's pretty tricky. Okay. That's spinning pretty nice. Look at that. That spins really good. And it's because we put those brass bushings in there. So remember, don't forget those, because then you put the oil on there and the oil rides in the brass bushings. But the directions make no mentions of that brass bushing. So I don't know. But it seems to be working really good. So we've got 2 started. Let's get the other 2 in there and then we'll tighten them down. But that is spinning nice. And there's no slop. Like, it's a nice axle. I think we got this figured out. At this point, we're just gonna tighten them down. So it looks like we just need a little Phillips. I use these little flat jaw pliers. So let me get a little Phillips screwdriver and we'll just give these a snug up. All right, 1 wheel down. Look how cool those black wheels look too. I'm telling you, those look cool. You gotta admit those look cool, Mary. So same process. See if we can do this a little better. So we got this all made up already. Drop of oil. Okay, so we got them all in again. It's just the same thing, matter of just tightening them up. So let's give them a quick snug. All right, that is pretty nice, I must say. So that is our interpretation of how to read the directions and get the brass bushings in there, and also install the DuBro 6-inchers on the stock hubs that come with the Carbon Cub. So the section for the wheels, this is hands down been the worst part of the manual. But you can see if you are going to run these DuBro 6-inchers, they mount right up to the stock wheels, and that's what you need. Do not use the DuBro 6-inch the hubs. They just won't work. So anyway, and then we painted them black. So if you want to have your plane looking cool too, just paint them black.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, flat black, and then I used a coat of satin clear coat, or sorry, matte clear coat. So yeah, that's looking cool. Moment of truth. Let's mount these up here. I just did a little test with these big grub screws that hold the wheel axles on, and one of them actually needed to be, I needed to run a tap through it. So this one worked out really perfect. This one had some stuff in it, so I ran a tap and fixed it instantly. More Loctite once again on the grub screw. This is an M4 grub screw, and I just dropped it. Let's just get this started in there. Okay, so that's started. And you'll see on the axle there is one more flat spot. I don't know if you can see it. So our goal is to put that in there, and hopefully we can catch it. I think we just caught it. Just kind of tighten it down, wipe away that little bit of extra. And you can see that little wobble there. That's just the play in the axle inside the hub. That's not the flat moving. So there's not much you can do about that. I suppose you could build up some stuff inside the hub. So you would need some more brass sleeves, but it doesn't bother me too much. But it spins nice. All right, let's get the other one on there. Get this in there and try to find that flat spot. There it is. So we pulled it all the way out. So we're gonna do the same on this one. Gonna get that wide look. Big bad Carbon Cub. Little snug up. Wipe off the little excess goop. And that's the landing gear. So let's flip this bad boy over, get it on its wheels, and check it out.
Ready?
All right, moment of truth. Let's get this bad boy on its wheels. Mary, ooh yeah, she's already heavier. Mary's gonna grab the stand.
Yeah.
Oh, this is exciting. Oh man.
She's taking shape.
This thing.
Very nice.
Those black wheels, you gotta admit, those black wheels look pretty cool.
Here, let me try to get around here. Oh, well, you can move for it.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Now, you can't tell me You can't tell me that those 6-inch wheels don't look good on there. So remember, this is what the aircraft came with, the Carbon Cub came with. Look how dinky those are. It just doesn't look right. So not only are the DuBros taller, but they're actually a lot wider too. So remember, the landing gear is kind of stiff, but after a few hard landings, it won't be. All right, so that's the end of the Carbon Cub build video number 3. We got quite a bit done in this video, a lot of bolting things on. Next video, we're gonna be tackling the motor mount and the brushless motor. We're gonna get that hooked up with the ESC, solder up some connections. We're trucking along. This thing is coming out awesome. I'm really happy. It's starting to become reality how big this thing is. It's very cool. This is a cool plane. Mary, you liking it?
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to flying it. Well, not me.
Yeah. Well, eventually you'll be able to fly it. You just gotta keep practicing on the sim. But yeah, so far so good. Thanks for watching, everybody. Stay tuned for build video number 4. Got murder out my Rams.